So this is a brand new feature of Score. This is the main thing we've been working on the second part of the year, and yeah, it's very exciting. I think it brings Score to another domain. So let Chris introduce why we did that in the first place,
Yeah.
and I will show you how it looks like actually in the software.
Exactly. So Colin has got the best bit. So welcome to today's drop-in on introducing the Process Health Tracker, a session we've all been really looking forward to delivering. Judging by some new names on the attendee list as well, it's everyone's keen to see what we've been up to. So as Colin said, it's still 20-25 minute session, if that. Plenty of time for questions at the end. So do put them in the chat as you think about them as we go through. It's just a couple of positioning slides, just talk about why and what it can look like, and then Colin's got the enviable task of showing you what it actually looks like in Score. Just a bit of background. I know we've got some new faces here. You're predominantly your Score users, yes. This isn't a picture on the Score and all the benefits around that. But what we see time and time again when people come to us, they're looking to create. All the problems they have is that the process content in their organizations is it's hard to find. They might have some great processes, but people just can't find them. When you do find them, they're out of date. Yeah. And then the final kind of thing which they really kind of struggle with is processes aren't easy to understand or engage with. So what we're trying to achieve with Score, and our customers are achieving this in Score, is a process library where you can find your processes. Yeah. When you find it, it's there, it's up to date, it's relevant. And you can also understand them, and you understand the language that's being used around for processes around your organization. And then a lot of that comes down to how we engage with people. Yeah, the people doing the work, owning these processes, engaging with these processes, understanding these processes, improving those processes on a level. So we took a little bit of inspiration around a real world example. I mean, who's got a health tracker, yeah, or on their phone, or count their steps or their sleep? Yeah, it's a pervasive piece of technology now in our day-to-day lives, and it's great. I can see. I went for a run at lunchtime today, and I got stats straight away. I could see where my fitness level was. Am I dropping off? Am I tailing off? So if I plan to run a marathon, which I really don't want to do, I see if I'm fit enough. Yeah, I can work out how that's gone. I can share those stats, and I can really tie it back to what I'm doing, and I can see the results. And so, wouldn't it be great if you could track your process health in the same way that you track your own health? And that's really what the thinking, the ethos behind the Score Process Health Tracker. Yeah, so we've been working on this for a little while. Years of experience working with some really big companies around this, and sort of working out how do you ensure you understand how fit your processes are, how healthy your processes are, but also how do you get that culture embedded into your organization to keep them up to date, keep them fit, keep them fit for purpose. Yeah. So when that big change comes and sideswipes the business, or you go in and implement an ERP or a system, you're ready, you're healthy for it. So got it. That was it. It's just a really quick intro into sort of the thinking about why we took it upon ourselves to do this. Colin, do you want to blow people's minds and show them the software?
Pressure. Okay, let's get started. You should see my screen. I'm in a Score workspace, and I assume that most of you are familiar with what it looks like, and you've probably already seen that there's some little new things that I have at the bottom of my cards here, which is the score for 2 of these processes in this folder. When I hover over, it will tell me the details of this score. So why do I have 3.9? We see that there's 3 main categories. So when we were researching on how to best score a process, we realized there are 3 big things that are very important. The first one is the consistency, or the standards, or the look and feel of a process. Does the process match what I want it to look like? And these are all the criteria that are making up this part of the scoring. The second part is the ownership. It's very important that a process is correctly and regularly owned by someone in the business. So we will look at the details of this score, but it's all about process ownership. Do I have reviews that are planned? Is my process published? Has it been published recently? We can define what recently means. and all that will show the credibility and the trustworthiness of this process is measured in the ownership metric. And last, because as Chris said, the processes are for people in the organization, we also need to understand how this process is used. Are we creating a process that people will consult, they will refer to, they will interact with? And this is everything we are measuring under the engagement theme of it. So when I click on the More button here, I can see the details of this score. But the first thing I see is a tracker over time. So what the same way you have your health tracker on your phone or your Apple Watch, you want to see your progress over time. And here we can see indeed the orange, which is the consistency is growing. The blue one, which is the ownership, is growing, but I can see that the green one, the engagement has fallen a couple of months ago. So something happened. These mark degraded over time, and this is because this process hasn't really been visited by people. I can also see that I have a workspace target around 5. So this process is just shy of this workspace target, almost there, but not there. What should I do to reach my 4 out of 5, if not more? If I keep scrolling in this page, I will see some recommendations. So to us, not only the health tracker was about telling you where you are, how healthy your workspace is, your folders, your process owners, all that I will show you, but it should also tell you what to do next to get a better score next time you're coming around. The scores are calculated every day during the night. So here I can see, if I scroll very quickly past, we can see we have a lot of green ticks. So let's ignore that for now. But I can see I have 2 main criteria that are failing. So the process hasn't changed in the last 3 months, but so I'm losing points here. Everything that is dotted, underlined like that can be configured in your workspace. I will show you. And the process has been not visited more than 10 times in the last 3 days by 2 users. So the mark is a bit hardcore. That makes a lot of visits. And we can change that. We were probably playing with these numbers. What are the recommendations? In this sense, they make sense. Need to edit the process and encourage colleagues to have a look at it. If that happens during the next couple of days, we should see the green line slowly increasing and probably helping us reaching at least the workspace target, if not the maximum score that I can get, which is 5 out of 5. This is for a single process. And now I will show you around what we have at the workspace level. So let's go back to my workspace. And I was in the HR folder just before, where we have our 4 process. We can see here that we have 2 processes that are not in the scope because we don't think they are very relevant at the moment for being scored. Maybe because the score chart is not a real process. At this stage, we don't believe it's worth measuring. And maybe the hiring process is just so much work in progress. It's so fresh that we don't want to have a bad score on it because it's not meeting the criteria that we want. So we can set that up. Let's go to the new business tool that we have here on the left, the health. And in these screens, I can track the health aggregate for different items. So here, that's my entire workspace score. So the average of all my processes is 2.4, which is not amazing, but it will tell me where I should focus in the first place. So I can probably ignore some of the processes that have a good mark and have a look at the one that are a bit down at the bottom and pulling my score down at my entire level. So if I'm a manager, if I'm using this feature to track the healthiness, the healthiness of my process library, this is probably not the most helpful view. The next 3 pages would probably help me managing my own library. So if you are an HR person, typically our customers create folders for different business units or departments. So here we can see by folders, so that will help us finding the average score per folder, and we can see what are the teams or the teams that are performing less or better or less than ours than others. It creates a bit of a competition between teams, which we think is very helpful and very healthy, if I can use this word. Maybe the one that creates the more competition within SCORE is probably the health score by process owner, where we can see that Chris has been a very good student, but still not reaching the workspace target, Chris. Having the average of all the process where Chris is a process owner, reaching the score of 3.9. Craig is a little bit behind, and I'm late. Let's not even mention it. So these tools that we have here that are showing the aggregate are the most useful to the managers of the process library, not necessarily the editors. They can always look at their individual processes, but I think it can create a very positive loop, a positive feedback within the organization to understand how healthy is my process library and where should I put my energy next. Okay, what process should I look like? Should I look at what is falling behind in my in my process library? So we've been using it at SCORE for quite a couple of months now, trying to fine tune the different criteria, trying to understand the visualization that were the most helpful to us, and this definitely created a very positive attitude towards the workspace. Not only seeing that as a sort of dry-ish process library, but giving it a bit life to it and make it quite exciting to see these numbers. If I'm now going under the hood, I will go to the
Colin, do you want to show the if you click on a process owner, that view, and show them how it all collates?
Yeah. So all these views. So if I click on Chris, if I click on you as a process owner, yeah, good catch. It will show me the user health for Chris Green as a process owner. That's the 5 processes that Chris owns. I can see the different scores for each of them. So if I were Chris, I want to increase my score, I would probably look at this marketing and sales. But generally speaking, if I keep scrolling down, now all these recommendation systems that we have will show which processes are failing. So these criteria in the consistency group, at least 80% of what boxes must have one role or one system. So there's still some what boxes without roles in one of these processes. And the recommendation below you see, and it explains why we are measuring that. Why do we believe this is an important metric to track, and how to reach these points. Does that make sense? Yeah. So here I was looking at the user level. We can have a very similar view also at the folder level or the tag level, depending on what you're using within your organization. Going under the hood, here in the admin, we have a new admin menu for the health. This is where I can set my workspace target, the default being 4. This is also where I can very easily, even if I can do it at the process card directly, but here I can very easily select which processes check or uncheck processes that are included in the scoring. And also where I will be able to see all the rules that are enabled in this workspace. So we made it quite flexible. By default, out of the box, it's how we think it should be. But you have the capability as a admin of a workspace to tweak and maybe enable or disable some of the criteria. So for example, the process has a diagram template, and the process uses the default workspace diagram template. For some contexts, we know that we have some customers, they have a lot of diagram templates for different purposes and for different business units, different colors, so it doesn't make sense to measure that. Some for other customers that really want a big consistency in all the process look and feel, this is important. So this is a good example of what you can toggle on and off. And some of them that have some measures, we can also make them a bit more relaxed or a bit more strict as well. So for example, this one, the process has less than 12 boxes per diagram. We at SCORE, we believe this is the sweet spot. This is a good number, but we can make it more or less than that, depending on how strong you want to be. Yeah, so that's for the criterias. The criteria in SCORE, and then how it happens, the scoring. So the scoring happens overnight, every day during the night in British time, and it recomputes all the scores for all the processes. So if you're doing a couple of actions today, the score will not change until tomorrow. So to come back to Chris' presentation, this is about making your process library a bit lively, a bit more lively, a bit more active, giving a reason for people to visit their processes, and ensuring that you have a consistency and a coherent way to measure how active, and the activity of the users of your process library.
Brilliant. No, and again, the sort of companies that have been using it for a little while now have helped us fine tune some of the measures and the way of working. They've some of the words they've kind of mentioned around it's about visibility. And so it gives me a kind of that lens on how healthy is the process library on a whole, and you can kind of drill into that. But also the word they keep using is like gamification to people. Yeah, people are trying to game it and get in there, and which is brilliant. So they're going in, they're checking things. Yeah, they're setting up the reviews. They're making sure that they do have the systems, the roles, and it's brilliant. You know, it just sort of raises the bar throughout. And then if it does change over time, you can see where you might need to step in and assist someone or give them a little bit extra support. And again, as always, you know, your feedback's welcome. This is, I think Colin's got quite a good vision as to how this is going to progress and develop over time. But as always, your feedback is invaluable in that. So as you are, you know, introducing your teams, your users to this, you know, capture those quotes, capture that feedback. We're all ears on that. Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks, Colin, for introducing that. I think it's
Thanks.
Yeah, really excited to see how that's going to be accepted.